Let's see here.
Morning, Andrew.
Hey, what's going on, Eric? How are you?
Oh,
Back
good.
for more.
Good.
I didn't scare you off last time.
Oh, no, of course not.
That's awesome. Hey guys, well, good morning. Thank you for being on the call. I'm always honored when Tom asked me to step in for him when he's away. So today I kind of want to, as of lately, we can all agree that we've seen a shift in our real estate market. And for those of us that, have been around for a while, or even the last 3 or 4 years, we realize that things have changed, right? If you've been in the business 4 years, you got in at a good time. Things were happening, they were moving, and it might have been a little bit easier for you to get some transactions in place. If you've been around for even longer than that, you realize that we're working harder to try to keep up with the same amount of income, right? We have to get back to some disciplines. And what I have seen in a lot of people, whether they've come into the market and they're new or they've been in the business for a while, is, they've really become a little bit undisciplined, right? And, we can talk all day about, how to go lead generate and how to, make more calls and do more and do more and do more. But that's all great. You could take a bunch of notes about all of these different methods of production and ideas. But I think there's some fundamental core issues that I think that need to be addressed. And some of those are one, what are we doing as individuals personally to grow on a day-to-day basis? And two, how are we spending our time? Can we all agree that we could probably use improvements? Raise your hand, give me a sign of hands if we could use improvements in personal growth as well as our own time management and structure. Because all the tools in the world I could provide you, and I'm sure, I know for a fact that Tom has some really, really high level people on these calls. But oftentimes, like I said, we sit, we listen, but we go right back to doing some of the things that we've been doing, yielding us the same results. So how many on this call believe that personal growth every day is important, super important? But how many of you are actually actively doing something every single day, spending time with yourself as a priority before picking up the phone, before checking emails, before looking at Instagram, before doing any of these things to spend personal time in your own personal development? It's kind of tough, right? So I'll share with you just a little bit of a story. This goes back years. I've always been attracted to people and saw people, admired people that were into reading. And I always knew that when I saw a book, there was something valuable to be learned in the book. Should I have picked up that book? But guess what? I would make these yearly resolutions or yearly promises or this new list of things that I was going to do every single year with my business, with vacations, with my family, with encompassing everything. And for so many years, I said, I'm going to read some books this year. I'm going to get through X amount of books. I'm going to develop myself. And then what happens is life gets busy, right? Life gets busy. And I remember at the end of the year, I would look and I'm like, okay, I accomplished this financial goal. Yes, I bought this. Yes, I this. Yes, I did this. But hold on one second. I didn't read any of these books, or I started to read one and I got past, chapter 1 or 2, and it just sat there for the last 11 and a half months. So I truly believe that we should be investing in ourselves every single day, first and foremost, right? Pick up a book that inspires you. I think the atomic team meeting, I think, is because they really, really like the book Atomic Habits. And we can talk about how many of you guys have read Atomic Habits. How many of you actually read the book Atomic Habits, right? So, understanding the 1% growth factor, right? You understand that in the book, it talks about becoming 1% better every single day in our own personal growth, right? Feeding our minds, feeding our souls, being able to grow and develop personally so that we can start to fill our cup with fill it, whether it's your health, whether it's your mind, and so that we can grow. And there's a whole bunch of different health perspectives that as long as our minds are active and we're growing and we're keeping our minds busy and we're developing, there's so many other benefits to it, right? We have higher level conversations. We have different things to talk to different people about. It opens up opportunities, and it really becomes like, we become a different version of ourselves. And I'm not sure if I'm getting the mathematical equation on this, but if we took the time and we spent just a little bit of personal time in our self-development, and we grew by 1%, we learned something new every single morning, and we were a little stingy with that time, and we didn't let any outside interference in. If you did a 1% growth every single day, you would become approximately 30% better than you were the year before. If your bank account was 30%, 37% bigger, if you had 37% of more of all of the things that you love and enjoy, money, whether it's, more love, whether it's, more vacation time, it would feel pretty good, right? It would feel pretty good. And as a minimum, if you're spending some time doing a 1% a small percentage of your day to give yourself a 1% growth, you're going to be a whole different person. And the crazy thing about that is it compounds. So as you start to see and develop yourself, you're going to build momentum. Momentum is going to make you want to spend more time in that zone. And the rate in which you grow will increase. So commit to personal growth. Every day, grow, learn, get better, and keep your mind fresh daily. And start taking action. When you start to learn and grow new things, you create a schedule to have that time in your day, you're going to see massive results. And the other thing I put down here is don't wait to take action on things. Really get to the point where, there's so many people are getting ready to get ready, right? They're getting ready to become ready. And one of the things that I learned is, especially whether it's real estate, you get new real estate agents, and whether you're learning real estate or whether you're learning agent attraction. Here's a little something real simple. Learn a little, do a little. Learn a little, do a little. How many people find themselves needing to sit down or saying that they need more information, or they need to have more, learn more, or be able to talk about it more before you get started? Does that kind of resonate with anyone here on the call? Whether it's, whether it's your real estate practice or whether it's your agent attraction venture, that you feel like maybe you don't have all the words or you don't know enough and it's kind of keeping you back. Well, whether it does or doesn't, I hope it doesn't. I hope all of you guys are just, jump right in and go get it. But I see it a lot where people kind of tend to sit and they want to sit down and they want to gather information. They want to gather information and they want to gather information. And when I got to hear this and I heard it in the perspective of, learn a little, learn a little, learn a little, learn a little, learn a little. You were taking notes, we're gathering data, but we're not doing anything with it. And the fastest way to actually grow is to learn a little bit and actually go implement it and put it into our practice every single day. And through that practice and through that implementation, you're going to learn more. You're going to have an opportunity to make some mistakes. You're going to have an opportunity to see the things that you did correctly. You're going to come back and you're going to learn a little bit more from just the things that you did. I have a really cool quote. I'm going to say it slowly because the first couple of times I heard it, I was like, okay, say that again, right? So here it goes. what we didn't know was much more than what we did know. But we did what we knew so we can discover what we didn't know. Does anybody want me to repeat that? You can unmute yourself, wave at me. I needed to hear it a couple of times. What we didn't know was much more than what we did know, but we did what we knew so that we can discover what we didn't know. And that falls right into learn a little bit and then go actively do a little bit.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of what are those 4 steps of like learning or conscious incompetence or you're unconscious incompetent, and then you have a consciousness of your income. There's like 4 stages or something, and it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know, but as you start to learn, you start to realize what you don't know.
It all becomes clear, and eventually people will be coming to you for advice.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and I would tell you, when we talk about people getting ready to learn, getting ready to get ready, I think what when you try to look at what's behind that, I think it's procrastination. And a lot of people get caught in procrastination. I struggled with something in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I procrastinated on a price adjustment on a cheap piece of land and doing a comp and explaining it to these clients. And it's not that I couldn't do it. It just, I know it really well, but it was just taking the time to do it. And sometimes I kept at, why am I putting this off? And, for like, and I think those are the things that hold us back. It's always what, our mindset is always what like holds us back. And,
so so like if we were in a coaching call, I would ask you some questions and I would probably try to dig a little bit deeper as to why the procrastination took place. Because I think that if we spend some time there, was it a fear of a conversation that you might have to have with the seller?
No, it just, it dealt with me having to do a task that I don't like. It's like, I'm a big picture. I love talking, connecting with people. And so doing details and writing emails and administrative stuff drives me nuts, but it's necessary. So it's like I go for what I like doing and I shy away what I don't do. But I was the one that had to do it. So I kind of knew that about it.
Awesome. Eric, thank you. And thank you big time, because there's 2 parts to my talk today, and you just opened up the second part of my talk today. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for doing that, because you just made this whole transition a lot easier. So, hearing what you say, it was something outside of the things that you like to do. It wasn't something that you were looking forward to doing. You knew you had to do it, but it just wasn't something that you were crazy about. Therefore, you procrastinated on it, but it was something that you had to do, right? And you probably felt that your day was full of busy, and you could probably easily justify being busy and maybe even justify the fact that you didn't have time to get it done. Fair to say?
Yeah, no, exactly. Always a phone call, something came up, something more urgent.
Right.
Top thing never got done. That's what I say. Do the biggest rock first in the morning. Just try that.
Yeah, awesome. Right. It's eat that frog, right? Get it down. Do what it takes. But here's what I want to share with you guys. We spend our days being busy, and we spend our days filling time with tasks that aren't in our strength. Right. And so when I talked to Tom about this, we talked about, the Pareto's law, right? The principle, Pareto's principle. And I'm having fun right now talking about this principle, is because it applies to everything. 20% of the people are making 80% of the income. 20% of the people are doing 80% of the work. But we are in our 80% of the unnecessary deeds of our entire day. We're spending our time in the wrong places, right? So if we took a look at our day and we were honest with ourselves, nobody needs to say anything here on this open forum, because it doesn't really matter. It's how we show up with ourselves, how we look in the mirror, and how we see ourselves, and we see our truth, right? And I have to live in my truth every single day. I have to make sure there's nobody that's accountable, that I have to become really accountable to other than me, which is really the person that I have to look in the mirror and be pleased with. And not every day am I pleased with the way that the day ended or I spent the day, right? But I'm not looking for perfect all the time. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking to just make sure that I have less of those days. So I want to talk to you guys about, and I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask yourself. We spend our days and we can always say that we're busy and that we have no production and that we absolutely didn't really have a fulfilling day. When we take a look at what did we do? Did we spend our time in three very specific areas? So how do we determine whether we are focused in the right place or not? So you can write these questions down. What is required of me? And so with that in parentheses, what are your absolute must-dos? What is required of me? Same question, what must I do? Some of that could be, I have to take my kids to school. That's a non-negotiable. I have to get in a workout. It's a non-negotiable. You have to eat. It's a non-negotiable, right? What are the absolute must-dos? Your responsibilities that if you didn't do, you not only would you fail yourself, but you might fail specifically others even in your home, right? What gives me the greatest return? What are the things that you absolutely should be doing? And so each one of these questions should create a list. What is the most rewarding to me? What I love to do? So the task would be for you to answer those questions, okay? And really think about it. And then really think about it even more so and say, do these things fit really, truly in this category? What is required of me? The non-negotiables. What gives me the greatest return of investment of your time? And what is most rewarding to me? I could answer a lot of those. I could answer that. Those are packed questions. But I could, what is required of me? Well, I'm a father. I have 2 sons. I have to be present for my kids. There's mornings that I have to take my kids to school, right? I have to be accountable to my office staff in the sense that, I have certain responsibilities. And then what gives me the greatest return? What gives me the greatest return is when I'm being productive, whether I'm communicating, speaking, coaching, talking, or whether I'm in my zone and generating new business. And then what is the most rewarding to me? And that is my workouts, my spending time with my sons, spending downtime with my sons, doing something fun with them, right? I spent this weekend, we went out and we went to Home Depot, we made a run and we built some stuff in the garage and, I was able to spend some bonding time. So I take a look at this and I've created a list. And after you create that list, then I want you to just go down and write all the rest of the junk that happens throughout the day. Picking up the unnecessary phone calls, shopping online, jumping on Amazon, checking your bank account online. When the online accounts, you can check it at night. Check it in the evening. You can check it on Saturday or Sunday, right? Not during the production time of your busy day. There's a ton of things that we do that we get sidetracked from those most important things. So when we take a look at our day, and if we answer the questions, those 3 questions, how do we spend 80% of our time there and either delegate or eliminate the rest? Delegate or eliminate the rest. Making that price adjustment it was part of your job. There's a lot of things that are part of my job. There's a lot of things that are part of my day-to-day work schedule. There's a lot of things that I need to do, to get certain things done, but there's a lot of things that I don't want to do in reference to those things. If I took a look at a daily task or a specific task regarding a certain subject, there's only let's just say the cream of the top of that I want to touch, but the whole thing needs to be done. So I've delegated and I've trained somebody else to do that for me. so that I could come sit down and just assess. Maybe it's the data of a property, right? Maybe it's to just to have those comparables for myself to see them and just go ahead and put a second set of eyes. Maybe look at an investment opportunity, but the data was already pooled and presented and prepared for me. I got to get on a call. I have to get on a call. I don't want to prepare for the call. Somebody else is going to prepare me for that call. I just need to sit down and make the call. There's a lot of things, and it doesn't have to be. I'm just giving you examples of what my delegation looks like. And then there's things that you're going to just eliminate. You know, how many of you guys spend time binge watching some type of a show on Netflix, or, you know, scrolling through Instagram endlessly or mindlessly throughout the day? The next thing you know, you've killed an hour. It's lunchtime. So when we take a look at staying 80% of your time in your strength zones, 15% of the time in your learning zone, and 5% of the time working outside of your strength zone, which is all the rest of the crap.
Yeah. Andrew, it's a great, all the stuff that you've been saying is great, you know, and it's the old adage, it's always easier said than done in some ways. And I'm not trying to cast any kind of negative light on that. It's like, I love the idea of delegation, you know, and when I started this year, you know, I really tried. And when I moved my business over, you know, it was my intention and my stretch goal was to get admin. I had a virtual admin. It didn't work out. I was going to hire somebody. I'm glad that I never did, because it wouldn't have been good for me this year. And so like now I'm stuck in this, what I call the messy middle. Somebody else gave me that term. And, you know, some of the stuff that we know that needs to turn the crank, but, you know, it's like, you know, what is the leverage point for that? But then also too, why is it hard? Why do you have, you know, mental blocks on things? Like, why do I have mental blocks? Like it took me a long time to realize, why do I have a mental block about calling people? I like to talk to people. It's not that it was a fear of calling. What it really was that I had 188 things on my to-do list. People didn't believe me. Then I send it to them. And I said, well, every call, I always have some 2 or 3 outputs I have to do. So when I was really focused and really disciplined, I would be completely exhausted at the end of the day with grinding away. And my to-do list was longer. It's like, oh, I had a productive day. Now I have more to do and more stress and more things that didn't get done. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Eric,
this.
I hear what you're saying. Have you ever considered hiring a coach?
I did.
Yeah.
For a brief time. And yeah, I mean, I've been a student on here for a long time since I joined. And again, it's all the same stuff. And again, it's not bad information. It just takes time. You know, I realized with me, it's like you got to work till you play to your strengths. And I'm probably the kind that slow and steady wins the race. You know, I'm starting to do the things that I learned, but it doesn't all happen overnight. Like I've been going to the same people and ask, okay, well, what's this? I have this challenge and I go to this person, like over the course of the year, and they're giving me all the same information, which is good. You need schedule blocking, you need time discipline. So schedule blocking, schedule management, all that. And I totally get that. And it doesn't mean I'm not trying. It just is extremely hard in my mind in this business, because in 2 minutes I get a call. And if I don't take this call, I lose the deal. And I've had that. I win deals because I'm hyper responsive, and I lose deals if you don't be very reactive. So sometimes the discipline, and trust me, I get it, but it's like this business is reactive in some ways. I want to be more scheduled, and I'm not saying I'm not trying, but it just,
I'm going to just be very open. Do you mind if I'm a little bit open with you and just be straightforward with you? I actually highly disagree with being reactive. In fact, I completely coach against being reactive. Okay. Nobody can move me at any point in my day. I had my phone blowing up on, what was it, Wednesday. And I looked at it, I just turned the ringer off. And I have a client that's in Texas right now. I got over $1 million of his properties listed. I just sent him to voicemail. I don't need to pick up his call. I'm busy. I'm doing my day, not his day. He's not going to die. If he dies, someone else is going to probably deal with his properties. or I don't need to be reactive. When you're professional and you hold yourself as a professional, stop being reactive. When you call your doctor, is your doctor jumping over the hoops and jumping over hospital beds to get to Eric? He's not. You're going to go through his staff. You're going to set an appointment. You don't even get to talk to him. Same thing with an attorney or your CPA. Whoever told you that you need to be reactive or your clients aren't going to leave you, or if you really feel that way, you haven't really seen your true value. And you're dealing with the wrong clients, my friend.
Yeah.
Because if I don't pick up a phone call and I send people to voicemail, do you think that I think that I'm going to lose the deal? No. I'll call them when I call them. They respect the fact that I didn't pick up. More so than I'm like, hey, how's it going, Jim? Right here waiting for you to call. I got one leg up in the air and I got one hand on the mirror, just waiting for the phone to ring. No. Build value in yourself. Have value in yourself. Don't sell yourself so short that you think that if you don't jump over a ball of flame, that your clients aren't going to keep you. They're going to dismiss you. What kind of value do you hold for yourself?
I understand that. And some of that comes from experiences that I've seen. I've been in a small town. I've been at small brokerages. And I had a client walk into the office because he was in another real estate office. And that guy was like, oh, let me get to you. I'll do that. And he didn't like that he was waiting. So he literally got up, walked down the street.
Well, good. Let him walk out, because he's going to treat you that way throughout the entire transaction.
Andrew, I couldn't agree more with you, man. I tell my clients, hey, listen, if you find value in me, like that's why you're hiring me. I do a better job. I'm going to net you more money. I treat every property like it's my own. However, when I'm with you, do you see me picking up the phone? I don't. So I have a number of clients that trust and love me. And what I will promise you is, I will try to get back to you same day every time. I'm not always going to pick up the phone. I'm with clients. I'm in meetings. However, your business is important to me. If it's a 911, send me a message. It's a 911, right? And I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll walk out of the meeting, and I'll give you a call. If something's on fire or, otherwise, I'm doing my best to sell your property as if it was my own. Right. So you can trust in that. And if you need me, I will call you back same day. Now, if you call me, at 7:30 at night and I'm coaching my daughter's softball, I'm going to call you in the morning unless it's a 911. So Eric, you're training, in my humble opinion, your clients that, they can treat you however they want. They can make you jump through whatever hoops you want. And in my humble opinion, that's not how you do a long-term sustainable business, right? I did 80 transactions in the last 12 months myself as a solo agent. I do have assistants, as you know, I have 3 of them, but my clients know that I care about them. I'll call them back next day and they value me. And that's why they continue to use me.
Exactly. Thank you so much. We had a chance to meet, I think at one of the events that you guys did. You were on a panel, I think in Roseville. You were, I think, one of the speakers. So yeah, thank you for being on here and thank you for your input and collaboration. I
100% agree with you, Andrew. 100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when we allow ourselves to be reactive. I see new agents, it's like the new agent syndrome. I gotta go. I got a listing. I gotta go. I got this. I got that. I got this. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Calm. Be calm. The things that I see, you get a text message, I gotta respond. The agent's mad because of this. We've been on the market for 30 days and they're thinking about taking it out of the market. I gotta respond. No, you don't. No, you don't, because what's going to come out of your mouth right now or what's going to come through this text isn't going to be the right thing because you're reactive. Read the text a couple of times. Sit down, have a coffee or have a tea. Do what you got to do. Think about it. Respond once you have a level mindset, a level head, a solution to the problem, right? Being reactive is one of the worst things that we could be in our industry. It's not good for us, and it's certainly not good for our clients.
That makes sense.
So here's the thing, Eric, and I appreciate you talking about, you're listening to the same things, you're listening to the same things. I'm going to share with you, an implementation of change has to happen every day. And this is why I started the meeting off with the understanding of personal growth every day and a 1% change factor. Because oftentimes we hear someone speak, we write down some notes or we don't, we take in the information, it sounds great to us, but it's so far from where we are that it just doesn't seem obtainable. And therefore, we don't ever change. We don't ever make change. we don't ever see what that person was talking about. We hear it, we get it, we understand it, but year goes by after year goes by, and I just don't seem to be able to get there because you are trying to eat an entire elephant instead of making a 1% incremental change of that day. So guys, I am 6 minutes over my allotted time. I am happy to open this up for any questions, comments. I appreciate you, Eric. You've been very active on these calls. Russell, thank you so much, bro. It was good to see you and hear you again. But if anyone has any feedback for me, questions for me, I'm open for, a few more minutes to think I can push my time here for.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate your guys. I've always appreciated the collaboration. It's been sharing best practices. And so when I say I hear the same things, it's not being, oh, it's negative. It's actually like, no, this is good information. And it's sometimes it takes a while to sink in on these,
Yeah. Hopefully everybody's coming in Tacoma next weekend. That's on this call. That's in NorCal. So make sure you guys.
I'll be there, bud.
I'll be there. I'll see you. I'm bringing like 10 people. It should be a blast. I got people coming from Arizona. It should be a really good event.
Awesome. I'm gonna have an opportunity to golf, and if any of you guys see me, I look good when I show up, but it all goes away until I swing the golf clubs.
Andrew, you're a braver soul than me, man. If I'm not decent at something, I don't know if it's vanity or whatever, I'm just don't do it. And I suck at golf, so I play zero.
I enjoy it, and I enjoy the camaraderie and the conversation that I have with others. And I told Matthew Stewart, and I was talking to Don, and I'm like, I said, I always give an analogy. This is a fun analogy of a real estate agent with a license for 15 years and my golf game. So I always tell people, I've been a golfer for 15 years. I play once a year. I suck. I play real estate every day. I have a real estate license, and I have golf clubs in my trunk and a real estate license, but I use the real estate license daily, and I've used it for almost 20 something years. I said, I'm pretty good, right? I've had my golf clubs for 15. I don't play that often. I'm not very good at it. And so people always get a kick out of that because I use that as, how often are you playing this game? Whether it's agent attraction or whether it's going out and building your business, how much are you playing the game? How involved are you in the game? Because the more involved you are, the better you're going to become.
Yeah, pick up the phone. I'm talking to a 3,000 plus brokerage and 1,100 plus brokerage, and it's just, you got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone. And, I'll end with this because that could be scary, right, Russell? Yeah, I mean, like yes, it could be scary, but
it could be scary.
Somebody's going to get them, right? Why not me?
Somebody's going to get them. And so I got to sit down and I got to hear the other day, John Maxwell talk about, people say that failure is not an option. And he says, make it an option. Make it an option. Because if you're not out there and you're not trying to do something that you might fail at, you're not doing anything worthy. And if you fail at something, fail forward and learn. Hence his book, Failing Forward.
Yeah. The 1,100's telling us to fly a kite, and the 3,000 looks like they might be all in. So you just don't know.
You don't know. And in worst case scenario, the one that's telling you to fly a kite, you go recruit their top agents.
Yeah, no, that's like one of the brokerages that I was trying to recruit. It's not that big, right? 50 plus. Some of their agents are coming to us. And so I told her, I said, hey, you need to come over. You're going to regret it if you don't, right? Like, come over now. And she's like, what do you mean I'm going to regret it if you don't? I said, it's just the right time, right? And so I'm trying to give her every opportunity to bring her brokerage over before 25% of them leave for us anyways.
And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. I just said something very similar to someone. So, awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much. Russ, I look forward to seeing you.
Same, Andrew.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Andrew.
You got it, man. You're welcome.